What's going on, everyone? It's Greg back again with some more Heroic Expedition. And today we're going to talk about this new event and the new ore and why you should consider picking it up. So before we get into the event, I'll give you a little preview of what I'm going to say and just say this. As you can see, I am now in Nightmare, and I'll be honest with you, the ore helped me to beat hard mode 15-50, the very last boss of hard mode. So I'm pretty happy with the ore so far, and we're going to talk about its uses and where you might see it getting used in the future. So let's go ahead and jump into the event real quick and cover this. We have the Cloudtop Store back again, and per usual we have our daily sign-in reward, we have the packages, we have the description, just talking about the golden plume. But we have a big difference this time, or actually two big differences. One, I believe the value of the plumes has risen in terms of the packages. I believe you got 18,000 last time, and now you're getting 13,000. I'm not 100% sure on that, but that's what I think it was. Then if we come in here to the Cloudtop Store, you notice one thing right off the bat. There's no heroes. So why don't we have heroes on the Cloudtop Store? I believe they dropped the ball on that. They probably missed out on people buying quite a few packages, and we can't even get the heroes. So let's do a quick recap on the value of the Cloudtop Store. You have options here. You can get golden elixir. Honestly, that's just the last thing you get if you have any plumes left over. We have rune shards, very valuable. Classed, not quite as much, especially not the regular class. If they had the colored class on here, then there might be something you should go for, but the class I don't really see as needing to buy off of this event. But if you're short on it, I mean, it's not a terrible value. The prayer coins, I mean, the prayer wheel is completely RNG, so you never know. You might get paid 300 of your plumes and get a hero, but you probably won't. So I personally wouldn't get the prayer coins. We have the shards. If you're close to just opening up a hero, you want to do it real quick, maybe go ahead and grab some shards, but overall I really wouldn't purchase those. Artifact shards. Now these are very valuable. I actually buy these with gems when I defeat the mirror. So I would say there's actually some value there in purchasing those. I just don't know if I'm gonna go for that, this time around. And then we have the spirit stones. I'm going to put out another video on the spirit stones and the new tavern, and so I'll go a little bit more into that. I will say, in terms of them being available there's still a very good value here, especially because you can get them from the tavern, but it's so hard to find them. And like I said, I'll post another video on that. But here you're guaranteed, get 1 per 1,000. I feel like it's a little steep, but given the value they set for these things, it is a good value. Then we have advanced summon stones and the factional summon stones. Personally, I just wouldn't buy these. I just wouldn't. I mean, the rates are not great, and I just, there's other valuable things on here. Then we have the two ores. You have the attack crit ore, the Twilight Nightmare, and then the new Void Counter ore. And we're going to talk more in depth about the Void Counter ore in a minute. The Twilight Nightmare ore is a good ore. I would say it's not necessarily 100% necessary, but definitely a good ore to have if you have the extra plumes to get it. If you don't have that yet and you're trying to decide between the two ores, I mean, obviously if it follows the same trend, both ores will be back, so it doesn't really matter which one you pick now. You get the other one next time. If in terms of making advancements in the game, the void ore, the void counter ore, is maybe a little bit more late game than the crit attack ore, and so you might find some more value out of the Twilight Nightmare ore if you get that first. But we are going to go into the void counter ore and in depth in a minute. So in terms of on here, what am I going for? I'll probably go for some spirit stones, maybe some artifact shards. Probably not gonna go for rune shards here. I'm gonna keep getting those from the tavern. That's been a decent source of those now. And class I'm actually doing pretty good on. If it was maybe a month or two ago, I might have invested in those, but So mostly I'm going to focus on spirit stones and the artifact shards. And of course I already got the void counter ore, as you can see. So let's go ahead and get into the ore itself. Now, I've seen some mixed things about the ore on Discord and through other videos. Look guys, this is actually a pretty amazing ore. You know, you get this HP boost, which is decent, but you know, it's not amazing, but it's still decent. I think the rate is going, it's probably going to end up at either 20 or 25%. I want to say probably 25%. So I think once you hit plus 10, then you'll get like 2% per level. So you'll hit plus 15% at plus 10, and then I'm guessing, and of course it's just a guess, I'm not sure yet. If you check out Morn's video, I think he already posted his. I think his is plus 11, so you can see what difference is there. But I'm guessing this ends up at 20%. I'm sorry, 25%. And then speed. The speed is actually getting a pretty decent boost, and that's the biggest game changer out of this ore. And I know, like maybe very early game, it's not going to make as big of a difference. But let me explain to you exactly what it did for me. But before I do that, let's look at the additional attributes. Like, so you got this 8% stun chance, which goes up to a 12%. At the end of the day, you're not going to rely on that. It's just an added perk. If it triggers, but you definitely are not relying on that. That's not what you're buying this ore for. You're going to buy this ore for the speed. And the HP is a little bit more of an added bonus. It makes it pretty good on tanks. So, you know, you may not think about that from the get-go, but this is actually very good on tank, and especially in Gust. And the reason why I like it on Gust is because he is pretty slow by default. So as you can see now, I put this ore on him and he's up to 193 speed. He's actually faster than a lot of the mobs in the adventure. And that's what helped me in the game. You really need to get a Gust buff off early. And this goes for other heroes, like let's say you want to get off Alex's shield early and so forth. You know, this could help out quite a few different heroes. So for me, I put this bad boy on a Gust. His shield goes up pretty early in the second round. Well, shield, but his damage sharing buff goes up but pretty close or pretty quick in the second round, and ups my survivability because I'm not getting hit by all those mobs before it goes up. And that's the issue I was having on 1550 hard. You know, those mobs were killing off a hero before August could actually get his shield going. And there's some other tricks in terms of speeding up August as well, and maybe that's for another video. But this ore was very, very, very helpful. And I actually didn't even watch the battle, but the very first battle I did after putting this ore on August, that's the only thing I changed. And then I ran 1550 again after running it about 30 times and losing. Boom, I won. So definite game changer ore. This thing is a beast. Now, where else are we going to see into play? I will make a separate video on another topic, and as I get into like tier lists and things like that, and it's coming, guys. It is so coming. I'm gonna buckle down and get it done. But I will go ahead and give you a little preview here of the current meta, at least on iOS server 1. And I wasn't necessarily the first person to do this, but I will say I feel like I did start a bit of a trend, because as soon as I did it, other people started doing it, and now you can see it in the top of the arena. And as you can see here, we have Sylvia, Margaret, Meryl, Matthew, and Sarah. Boom, my team, same exact composition as Morn. Tengil, he is, I believe, a little bit of a different composition here. He has like a Chaos and Ocean team. It's actually kind of cool. I do kind of wipe it out, but I did do one test fight against them, but it's still a pretty cool composition. I actually like that. I wish it was a little more viable, and maybe it still is, but and he just needs to do some tweaks, but we'll see. Reaper, same composition as me and Morn. Black Death, again, same composition. I believe Black Death actually had this first, at least before me. I didn't see it. I actually just, you know, kind of was testing some things to stop someone else from attacking me, and ended up with that composition. But I believe he might have had it a little bit earlier. It just wasn't catching on until after I stuck it on. Then we have Alars, who I believe is working on his Sarah, so he might end up changing the composition here. We got J Kick, and I don't think too many other people have. So we get down here. Let's see who else is running Meryl. All right, so we got Jenny, XOXO is running Meryl, and Sage. You see a lot of Meryls popping up, and let's be honest, Meryl is a PvP nuke. And like I said, I'll go into that in another video. I'll go over the stats of my Meryl in another video. But here is what the meta currently is. The meta essentially is you want Meryl to do their first round attack, hit all the heroes, and Sarah's passive to activate, which is going to be, she's going to have that chance to put silence on all the other heroes. So it is RNG based. And if you go team against team, you might end up exchanging fights, 50-50. But it actually comes down to whose Meryl is faster. So whoever's Meryl attacks first is what's going to distribute those silences. And you could very well silence the other person's Meryl, and they won't even get it to attack first round. So that's why this combination is so powerful. Those actives are so important. And unfortunately right now, the other wild card is Margaret. Margaret is just a must-have. Unfortunately, the way they built her in this game, she is just overpowered. Honestly, she's overpowered. And that's probably she's probably one of the main reasons why we could advance so far in story mode. And I don't think they could really change her at this point, but she is the top meta hero right now. Like, you have to have her in arena. I slacked off on having her if you watch my videos, and it didn't go good for me. I was getting wrecked left and right. But now got my Margaret in there, and I'm wrecking other people. So that is the meta, the Meryl plus Sarah. And the way I can see this ore going is eventually it's going to get into a speed war until we come up with some other meta. And I don't think we'll get to know too much more about that until we actually get the friendly fights, which is definitely coming. But until we get that, we're stuck with what we got. And the meta right now, at least for our server, is Meryl plus Sarah. And there's some other combos in there. Maybe watch more, and I think he has a little bit more resources than I do, and he's able to test some other heroes, and I think he has some other ideas that could make the team even better. But at a minimum, what you're looking at Margaret, Meryl, and Sarah. They're kind of like must-haves, because you need Margaret to distribute those dots. Those dots just melt people. So that's just the name of the game right now. And before I had Meryl, I couldn't get too far in the adventure. Now I'm in Nightmare. So, I probably gonna get stuck again, but I'm actually kind of taking my time. Like, let's see what happens when the pets come out, and how that affects the stats. And then I want to get a little bit higher on my runes to activate some other runes there as well, and maybe get like the additional HP, some extra attack, and we'll see how far I can get. So I know I kind of went into quite a few other things there, but the main point of that was that this ore is pretty amazing, and it has many different uses. That being said, I'm not throwing it on my Meryl right away. We'll see what other people decide to do. If someone starts beating me in arena, then that might be what I have to do. That could be the game changer. Just throw the ore on her. But right now, it's not actually going on anyone in my arena team. I more am going to use it for PvE, and in ruins, in adventure, and I don't really think it applies too much to boss fights and things like that, but definitely 100% helpful in PvE for adventure, and in, I would say, the ruins. And if you're struggling, probably a little bit helpful in expedition. But once you get to a certain point, expedition becomes a lot easier. So right now I kind of just zoom through that. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. I just want to make sure you guys know that this is a very good ore, and depending on where you are in the game, I wouldn't necessarily call the ore in game, but it is a little bit later game in terms of its uses and how its uses expand. But definitely you still use it early game. I mean, the HP boost is nice. The speed boost is amazing, especially on anything where you're relying on someone to buff your team. The faster they go, the faster you get that buff, the better you're going to do. So that is what makes this ore so powerful, and that's why it is so powerful. And that's why it's a must-have for me. I needed this. It went on my August, made a huge difference. Okay? Don't let anyone else tell you wrong. It's very, very powerful, and it will become necessary in the long run. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.